Did you think
That's fair.
I was going to get caught? Were you concerned? So
No, it told me that the stream shut down when it was starting. I was like, okay, mixed signals there.
right. It also tells me it's been going for 15 seconds, which means that it started before the counter, but whatever. So we'll see what shakes out on the other end.
The topic of today's episode of One Weren't Recording, where we're just shooting the. Can't say that
Whatever.
yet. It hasn't been 35 seconds or whatever it is.
Breeze. We're shooting the breeze. Yeah. It's Shay for all you Pig Latin enjoyers. So,
how's everybody doing? Has it been a great week? Mine's been a little stressful, but here we are. It's Saturday. We're together. It's all that matters.
You talk about it like it's Thanksgiving.
I don't
family
know,
dinner.
I have never had a Thanksgiving, so I wouldn't know how you talk at a Thanksgiving.
I mean, do you have a holiday where you gather around the table and you're just grateful that your family is present?
Christmas?
Okay. So it's a pretty close one then. Yeah. So Thanksgiving is like Christmas without the presents. So
without the presents and more turkey.
True. Yeah. You usually do a ham for Christmas, but
ham.
It depends.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh,
what do you do?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well, I mean, if you're Jewish, I could see how ham for Christmas would be a problem on two fronts. First of all, not celebrating Christmas, but also the ham.
We usually like it kind of depends where in the country you're from, but most families seems to do some like both. So we do duck, either whole roasted or just like if only some people want duck, then people just done like a couple of breasts or something. But usually whole roasted duck. And then like a pork roast with crackling on top.
Which is, of course, different from a ham.
Yes. It's a different cut. A ham here would be almost always, but not universally. But when some people say ham, it's a smoked ham.
Sure.
This is not smoked.
I just find it funny that we're quibbling about the meal when it's like a different cut of the same animal, the same magical animal.
Sure, so. But it's like I'm not that big into ham, but a roast pork with the crackling tastes very different.
Sure,
I would say than regular ham, and then it's served with then we have sweet brown potatoes and white potatoes, usually crisp like chips. Red cabbage, pickled cucumber. You have 2 different sauces made on the 2 different animals, or you just made together in one. Some people do medista, which is like a sausage kind of thing, and specifically a Christmas sausage of that kind. What else is served? I think that's like the mainstays, and then there is usually a rice pudding kind of dessert with almonds in it, served with usually with a cherry sauce that's been heated up. Though I don't like the cherry sauce, but it's there. Okay. So that's roughly what you have for Christmas.
There's a big old sausage that looks like a bratwurst. So, but yeah,
I'm surprised you found the spelling for it.
I let Google take the wheel a little bit on that one. So I spelled it phonetically and then said Christmas sausage, and it's like, oh, you mean this whole gigantic word that there were like 3 extra syllables not used? Got you, bro. So anyway, we got about 10 years before AI completely takes over, because like I can't even spell Christmas sausage without AI's help anymore. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, true. I mean, have you seen the video stuff that the Google AI can do now?
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
I think we touched on that 2 weeks ago, where it's like I can kind of tell on the live action stuff, but the animated stuff.
Yeah. I got to tell you, like I watched some people talking about how fake it looked afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, I see it now, right? But the fact that you have to kind of do some sleuthing to figure it out, I feel like, is not a good sign. And as a lot of other people are saying, this is just like this is the beta, right? It's only going to get better. But like one of the big videos that everybody talks about was like the street interview, whatever you want to call it, right? A lot of influencers do and whatever. And they were like, just watch the people in the background, and you just watch somebody walk past the scene and then just disappear. I was like, okay, that's a great clue. However, if you're paying attention to the subject matter of the video, you're not watching the background. That's the point of the background. So a lot of people,
it's getting closer and closer to where you have to, like, my roommate, he actually made a pretty good point where kind of like how for our generation we can see stuff on the net that our parents would be like, they just believe it, like, hook, line, sinker, in with both feet. It's like, yeah, that I believe that they said it, so it's true. Or we can like, this is obviously fake. You can see it's fake.
right?
Where our kids would be like, no, Dad, that's AI. You can clearly tell it's AI. And we'll be sitting there, what do you mean? This is real. I could see them talking right there.
So yeah, without getting too deep into some other conversations that I've had though, right? Like the danger isn't necessarily even now, right? It's that we're really bad about projecting this out 2 or 3 generations, And so sure, it looks fake and gay today, and even millennials can tell, right? And then let's take what you're saying at face value, and our kids can tell. And then, by the time though that we've got their kids, even if they can tell, it may not even be a concern for them, right? It's just part of the fabric of society at that point. It's like, at a minimum, right? Are we going to replace every kind of talking head, right? Where it's like the news is done by AI anchors instead, right? At a minimum, let alone think of all the nefarious things that you could do by, mimicking literally anybody through AI, right? Politicians, any kind of public speaker, right? Like, what kind of verification are you going to have to go through at the bank, to just be like, you could never call them on a video call, because how would they fucking tell? It's like you're going to have to just walk in person to do everything. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? But it's like some of those secondary and tertiary effects are the ones that I get concerned about, right? Like, are you ever going to be able to watch a televised address from a politician and just take what they say at face value? I mean, you never should have, but you know what I mean. Like, are you ever going to believe that they said those words
2 weeks ago about that movie? What was it? G20, I think it's called.
Sure.
Where they want them to say, I'm not sure how completely accurate this is to real life yet, but say these specific words in front of a green screen, because then we can generate whatever and get them to say really bad shit.
We talked about that too, right? Like, they've already done it. That's the thing. They've been doing this for decades. It's just kind of funny that it's taken this long to become like a movie plot thing. Like, like one of the first and more notable examples is Majel Barrett, who was married to Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek creator. She voiced the computer, and towards the end of her life, they had her recite various words, and then of course they've got hundreds of hours of her recitations anyway, but they basically had her recite a bunch of keywords so that they could use her as the computer if they wanted to. Now they moved away from that anyway, and in the new shows, like, if the computer talks, it's usually a different actress. But the point is that technology and that process has been there. They didn't necessarily have her do it in front of a green screen, but they had her do all of this language, all of these words, so that they could pull out various syllables and the types of pronunciation and everything like that, so that they could keep using her voice if they wanted to. Like, we watched Rogue One not too long ago because the end of Andor and Star Wars Day and everything like that. And like, Carrie Fisher was alive to watch herself be recreated by CGI, right? And she loved it from all reports that I've seen. And so it's like, that's the thing that I've been telling people for years, is that, anymore, like, you're just going to get actors like sign away their likeness. It's probably going to start with, people at the end of their career, at the end of their life. But, you're just.
James
What?
Earl Grey,
Yeah,
James.
there's
He
a
signed away
spat
the
going
right.
on about
Right,
that.
didn't he sign
Yeah.
away the rights, like sold his rights, or his estate did, to them in perpetuity?
Yeah, I think he did probably before he died, but like when he knew he was dying, then he signed away that they can use his voice. And now there's a legal spat going on because there was an actor who was trying to recreate his voice as Vader, and now that guy's out of a job, and something to do with like the SAG Guild, something.
Mhm.
And do they have jurisdiction on somebody who's dead?
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Kind of a weird science fiction world we're living in right now, right? So it's come home to roost, and we've had 40 plus years to prepare for it. So, but yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. It's like I think it'll be in the very near future. Like I'll be surprised if there are like actors, right? Like you get the guilds and stuff like that, and like they're gonna put up their fight. I think you're gonna have movements where people want to still embrace the real and whatever, but I think fully AI generated movies is not really that far off, especially with the technology we saw with Google's stuff, right? Like we're going to see that in our lifetime easily.
Where's my in this sci-fi future we're living in at this point, like getting to this point? But where are my flying cars? I was promised flying cars and self-driving cars.
Yeah. Most of the technology that's implied for those flying cars revolves some kind of bullshitium that never manifested.
Yeah.
Either something that you did know that was never going to pan out that way, like electromagnets, right? Or inventing artificial gravity, or coming up with some kind of new, metal or something along those lines, right? So, let alone, like, I've heard bunches and bunches of arguments against it, that it was like, even if it was invented, would you really want
people can't drive in 2 dimensions? I don't
Yeah.
want them driving in 3.
Right. And I mean, I think that gets past the fact that, like, it would be highly controlled, right? Like, I mean, you go look at Fifth Element and Coruscant and a bunch of cities that have flying vehicles, like they're still just flying in 2 dimensions. It's just their ability to like take off and land, and the fact that it's a whole lot faster. At least for a time, to extend the Thanos thing. You can't just cut everybody in half and it's going to be okay. They will eventually repopulate. But for flying cars, right, there's 3 dimensions of traffic, which sounds terrifying to some people, but like think about how much less congestion it is if instead of having 10 lanes, you've got 100 lanes, because you now have it in 3 dimensions,
No, as highways get bigger, congestion gets more. And something that I've been told and I've never ever looked into, so I'll just take it at surface level. But
we'll just bid that argument. Thanks for bringing that by. So,
but like, so if you have 3-dimensional highways and you have therefore 10 by 10s instead of like 3s, whatever, it's just going to get worse, because merging is going to get worse, and you're going to be able to squish people. And no, that's horrifying. Don't give people the ability to fly.
Well, surprisingly, the answer is also the problem, because it's going to be AI. We're just going to have robot cars do all the flying for us. So,
I would prefer self-driving cars that actually work before flying cars.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm down for all of that, but
I don't like
they
just have to do it all the time.
Right. I mean, yeah, I could have just about any kind of length of a commute, as long as I didn't have to like focus the whole time, and whatever. It's like I could sit in a car for 2 hours if I'm already at work, or something like that, but it kind of begs the question, like, why? But still,
the thing that you have as an asset in a few years is you have children, and you can force them to drive you around when they're old enough.
Yeah.
Somebody I worked with, she was going with her whole family from Colorado to like North Carolina or something, and they were driving there. But their 16-year-old was old enough to be able to drive with the parents present, and obviously they were going to be present in the same truck. And so he was having a blast driving cross country, and both the parents didn't need to do anything. They were just like, I'm gonna like read emails or read a book or get a little drunk or whatever. It was great. Everyone won out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit more, iRobot Will Smith. Like I'd still drive with my hands. Like if I'm gonna, on occasion at least, and whatever. Like I like to drive. It's just everybody else that's the problem. I'm one of those. But yeah, like I don't know. For me, like I think about it more in the economies of scale too. Like I've been telling people for most of the last decade that it's like, once you get self-driving cars, if it hasn't happened by then, very shortly afterwards you're going to have subscription services, and so you're not going to just have a car in your driveway. You're going to hit up your Uber, you're going to hit up your Lyft or whatever, and you're basically going to say, yeah, I need a car, and then there's not going to be a person in there. The car is just going to show up and take you to the grocery store and then take you home, and you're going to pay 150 $200 a month for the privilege of just having a car on demand.
I'm
So
sure there will be people who do that and then they don't have to pay for like storage, whatever. But
Sure.
there's going to be plenty of people who still want to own the thing or pay the subscription to be able to have it for several years so that they can modify it to their desires. So there's still going to be
Maybe.
people who have them,
Sure.
even if they don't
Yeah.
drive them. I always thought
Well-
it was like the Cars and Minority Report.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that like crawl up the sides of buildings and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah,
The
they
weird
could do that. They
highway.
had
Yeah.
interesting three-dimensional
Omnidirectional
highways.
wheels.
Yeah, but he was able to also just like no self-driving or me driving time, give me the steering wheel and
Right.
able to turn that on.
Well, and they did that in iRobot, and then one of the characters like gave him a bunch of crap for like, wait, you're driving with your hands, like what's wrong with you? And especially because the character in the movie had also been in a car wreck, so it's like, you'd think there'd be some phobias there. But yeah, I mean, in the short term, I fully expect, for like 10 or 20 years, like people would still be able to own their own cars. I'm just saying like that's going to go away by and large, right? Like buses don't need to be a thing at that point, right? You don't necessarily need to have mass transit. It'd be great if we did, but it just apparently doesn't catch in America. I don't know. So it's like maybe you'll have overlap, right? I'm not necessarily saying one or another, but like imagine AI gets so safe and then, 10 or 20 years down the line, you've got a lawmaker make the case that it's like, well, almost all of the fatalities are caused by people who drive their own cars. And there have been next to no fatalities for the last 5 or 10 years from self-driving cars. They're going to just ban it, right? They're just going to outlaw it. So, I mean, we're speculating, it's futurism. So, but I could see that be the path if we could get safe self-driving cars, right?
Yeah, that's the big if
so-
first.
Right. It's got to be able to drive in the rain, so that's
Rain.
that's kind of the big one.
The most like just like a Tesla driving, and it was just like the most clear open road, and then all doing the self-driving thing, and then all of a sudden just swerves to the left and out through a fence and into a field.
Nice.
It was like I don't know what it confused about. Something confused it, and it just
Sure.
went.
Now, I want to say, right, even with stories like that, I'm not against AI vehicles and whatever, like on the basis of that, right? Because while it's easy to lampoon that and it's easy to say, oh, well, the self-driving car did that, so did grandma last weekend, right? And so I've had this argument with people too, like self-driving cars are almost certainly going to be safer than people, even if they're bad like this, right? Because they don't eat, they don't sleep, and they won't stop ever until they get you to your destination, theoretically, right? Now, accidents happen, and we're going to do everything we can to stop that, right? But is that really any worse than your 80-year-old grandparents that are driving around right now? And we just turn a blind eye to that. I think there's some more social stuff happening there than there is like, like, oh, well, we just don't like new technology and you killed it. I mean, as much as anything, Tesla doesn't want those stories either because we haven't figured out if they're culpable for that or not, the last I saw. So it's like, there's still arguments on whether or not Tesla should be held responsible. And if they are, that's going to tank them financially, right? Obviously. But yeah, like just general in safety, it's like, even if they're like accident rates like 20% or something like that. I don't remember the numbers. I used to have better numbers on this, but it's like I'd still be okay with that just because like that is it safer than people? Like is it 20% safer than people? Then it's safer than people. Like great. I get it's not 100%, but if we're talking about like reducing fatalities and that sort of thing, you go with the safer option, you know. So, hi, EG. Just me being controversial again. So,
Well, then I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm here for a good Christian podcast and nothing else.
missed that we were talking about Christmas earlier. So
That's not Christian.
And Jewish ham.
it's literally
It's
Christian.
also not Christian.
Actually, again, how not? Like it's not Jewish,
Jewish ham?
for sure.
The Jews got it right with the lox and cream cheese bagel, dude. That shit's fire.
Yeah. No argument there.
Well, it's
Like
good they
what?
contributed something to the world.
That's like one of my favorite general bread things to put on bread is cream cheese and lox and maybe some onions.
It's got to be on a
It's just-
bagel.
Doesn't have to be on a bagel, but it is very good.
Should be on a bagel.
Should be on a bagel. Should not just be on like, you know, some
be on an
volcano,
everything
some
bagel.
volcano bread that you stole from your neighbor fjords.
But don't knock volcano bread until you tried it. You know how, like in the Middle East and India and all that, where they make the bread where they put them down the kiln and then stick them to the side of the wall. We do the same here, just with volcanoes.
You stick them to the side of the
Down
volcano.
into the volcano and to the side and wait. It's delicious. The sulfur. Mm-mm.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you got your backyard volcano. You just go out there and cook.
Everybody's
So-
get their own volcano. Like even here, when I live in like apartments, like you have a communal volcano down in the yard.
Mm.
Also, what heats up, you know, because otherwise it's always frozen here. But then the volcanoes like heats up the area, and then so people cluster around volcanoes. Cities are built around volcanoes here in the north.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice for you guys that you guys are in a period of relatively geological stability. So
Yeah, we're like right in the middle of a plate, right? So that's what, but also, you know, we pray often to the volcano gods. Each volcano has its own little demigod, and then they're ruled over by the big god. And we pray to the demigod once a week, and the big god once a month, and make offerings.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I obviously have to ask, what is the big demigod's name?
The big god, the volcano, he is called. This is in Danish, right? So you wouldn't, you know, probably wouldn't understand.
Fjorgen.
But his name is Store Flammegud.
It
I
sounds
don't-
like something that happens to you after you eat too many lox and bagels.
Right. I don't want a backyard volcano, so I'm not going to say the name or make fun of it, but you know, yeah.
Why not? You could be the think of the property values or
Yeah.
leveling, either way.
I've seen, you know, Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. I don't need to
That
live
was a
it.
great
so,
bad movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
We rewatched it, I think last year. It was like, oh God, this does not age well, but I still love it because I was a child when I saw it. But
I
yeah.
love that movie so much when I was a kid, and we watched it a couple times actually. Like, so I put it on, and it was on repeat essentially. And so my husband was like watching some of it and trying to follow, and then he would wander away and he'd come back at a different part of the movie. He's like, "How does this relate? Why is this happening? This is really bad." And after like 3 days, he begged me to turn it off.
3 days? It took you 3 days to watch this?
Oh no, I
You
was
should
just
watch
watching
it
it
on
on repeat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
missed that detail, I guess. So
Yeah, so he-
because I was like, it takes me and the wife 3 days, but that's because we got constant interruptions from the kids. But yeah. So
it's a very good bad disaster movie.
I mean, and the cast is fantastic, and like I don't know.
Tommy
I
Lee
mean,
Jones
a
doing
lot of the stuff.
anything.
Well, sure, you know. Yeah. So, but
I don't know,
you
the
know,
second
Don
Men in Black
Cheadle.
wasn't that good. I wouldn't say anything.
Who what? What'd you say?
I said the second Men in Black wasn't that good. I wouldn't say him doing anything is
I
good.
don't remember that one very well, honestly. So I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But he was probably great in it, and the movie sucked. That happens.
True. I'll tell you a movie he sucks in. No Country for Old Men. So
Oh, he's
just
fantastic
saying.
in that.
I mean, I love him, but yeah, his character is worthless. So
No, his character is like the main character. He's the one who is the the old
He's
man,
the old man.
realizing he's being left behind.
Hmm.
He is the volcano. He is the metaphor.
Right.
But, like, there's a scene with him talking to like his lieutenant, whatever. I don't know the titles of it, in a diner, and he's just like explaining all the pieces that he's put together. And as the person's trying to like keep up with him, he just like looks over the newspaper or something with a really like "don't fuck with me" face. It's fucking hilarious.
We're familiar with the meme. Yeah. So
Good movie, great movie, perfect scene.
sure.
This is the same era where with like Armageddon, right? Same
No
era
Country for Old Men, no.
with
But the volcano movie, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Like, were they that close?
Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
disaster movies had
90s.
half a decade, but
I was gonna say Armageddon was
gonna-
2000 or 2001.
I was gonna
Was it that
segue
late?
Yeah.
I thought it was much earlier. It was like 98 or
Deep
something.
Impact is
No.
better.
I thought it was just before Lord of the Rings because it was the only two things Liv Tyler
No,
ever really
Armageddon,
did.
1998, same year. as Deep
98.
Impact.
yeah.
And
So
Deep Impact was better.
I think you and I had our wires crossed on that because it was like we knew that, Arwen, obviously, right? But it was like, oh my God, she went from Arlen to do this, but no, it's the other way around. It's like, we've got her just being this dumb kid in Armageddon, and then she gets cast as like elvish princess. So, but
Yeah, the only other thing I know she was in for sure was something called Empire Records, which my cousins will love,
Right.
but I never bothered with.
I mean, the only thing I think I know about that is that she's hot in that movie. So,
Well, thank goodness she contributed something.
yeah, she didn't necessarily get cast for a lot of psychological roles. So, just one of them actresses, so.
Or lack thereof in this case.
Look, man, the fact that she's got to lay there with like an animal cracker running around on her belly and not giggle the entire time, like that's acting right there.
Yeah, with
So,
Ben Affleck trying to be serious. Or
right.
I was going to say I don't remember
Creepy.
this part of Two Towers. So.
Yeah, that's what was happening while Aragorn was off fighting the war. As Ben Affleck comes in and tries to steal her away. So,
I could believe it.
yeah. In between bouts of trying to rescue Matt Damon. So,
From what, falling into a hobbit hole?
yeah, pick something, pick all of the things actually. Like,
Speaking of Matt Damon, I watched The Accountant 2 yesterday.
okay.
He's not in it.
Why is that speaking of him when Ben Affleck is the one who stars in that movie?
Because his BFF Ben Affleck is in it. That's why.
Okay.
It was good.
Even though, so we were just talking about Ben Affleck, but speaking of Matt Damon is what brings up the Ben
Right.
Affleck movie.
Right.
You gotta sing, you gotta make your segues a little unpredictable sometimes.
There was no segue needed. It was just that it was a straight line.
I didn't hear Ben Affleck mentioned. Okay.
So we're talking about Armageddon, and we're talking about the scene with him specifically in the animal cracker, and you didn't hear Ben
Oh,
Affleck.
back there. No, I didn't think about The Accountant back then. I thought Ben Affleck was mentioned again.
What, 10 seconds ago? Yeah, clearly. It was such a long time ago. We've all grown since then.
I guess I just missed it. Then. I thought it was part of the Armageddon thing.
God.
But we have all grown.
Have we, though?
I mean, then Store Flammegud says so. And you don't want to fuck with him.
No, that would be.
Are you changing the name subtly every
Yes,
time
he
you say it?
is. He definitely said something different.
No,
It was still gibberish, but it was different gibberish.
I
Right.
think I just said, I just didn't put drama on it. The first time was, then Store Flammegud. And the second time it was,
That
"Store
sounds-
Flammegud."
Oh,
I see.
That
Put it
sounds
in-
more like similar gibberish.
Different emphasis.
On the wrong syllable.
You're just jealous. You're not multilingual. You wish you knew Danish. You'd be dropping that on people all the time when you could. In America.
Yeah, I mean, right. The only thing that I need to know how to say in Danish is surrender,
Danish.
but so-
Surrender.
Yeah. Are we still not doing those jokes because it hasn't been in the news lately?
And what context and Like
You got to know
capitulate.
the case system, the intricate case system of in which case do you use surrender this way or that way or this different ending or whatever. Very complicated language.
Hmm.
You just say Andreas, that means surrender.
Oof.
Means I give up. See, he gave
Well,
up.
if it's like capitulate, then it's capitulere. But if it's just surrender, it's overgive. You see?
No.
So
No, I
different
don't
things.
see. Because the first
There's
one
one
sounded
word that
like you were
they
trying to
spell
say an
in
Italian
English.
pasta.
Or give up. Give up would be give up.
You up?
We'll go with that one. I think the GIs can say that one. So
Wow.
Give up.
My you up.
yeah.
If you want to say it like a Norwegian, it's I give up.
Nobody wants to say it like a Norwegian.
Terrible.
I'm gonna make more fun of my language.
Does it really count as a language if you just kind of like making sounds?
It's not. That's any language. Sounds.
Yeah, but the
that
other ones make sense.
mean things. You just don't understand this language.
I don't think that's the way it works.
Shake my head. Oy vey.
Yeah, but we can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't count.
Right. Shake the circle, Andreas.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, but you could be lying. You could be doing anything. You could be doing nothing.
That is true.
So what are you making for dinner for everyone?
I am not sure if I'm making anything today more than what I already made, but I made French hot dogs earlier.
What?
What the hell is a French hot dog?
God only knows.
You don't know what a French hot dog is?
I don't think you
I'm
know what a French hot
French,
dog is.
and I don't know what a French hot dog is.
Does it have lettuce on it?
Yeah, right.
No, it's
It's escargot in a bun. That's a French hot
A
dog.
type of hot dog popular in Danish and Scandinavian cuisine where it's commonly served in a specially shaped bread roll with various condiments. So it's just a hot dog in a different kind of
No.
this is the one where the bread's all the way around it.
Yeah, the breads, and then you stick it in with and then you put dressing in there already.
Yeah, gross.
So it's a stuffed pig in a blanket?
Yeah, I was thinking corn dog,
Some-
All right.
but without corn.
Yeah, but it's like some of the pictures are like it's French bread, is probably why they
It's
call
kind
it that.
It's kind of like a very pale imitation of a baguette.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, a hot
Yeah.
dog and a baguette would be a pale imitation of a baguette. You are correct.
Right.
The bread itself is not nearly as crusty as actual baguettes are. It's
Also, when you say hot dog, do you mean just like Viking sausage or some weird thing? Or do you mean like, an actual hot dog where
what
nobody
is it,
should want to eat it if they knew the ingredients?
it's mostly some sort of like 80% pig and then some fat and some spices, and we like them with cheese, usually some cheese in it.
It's pig and fat. So
I mean, to be fair, that's mostly what pigs are made of, pig and fat.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
I just so you added more fat to the pig, like
No, it's like you take pig fat and unusable cuts of meat that's like, and then you blend them up and you have a sausage.
sir, I'm an American. You don't need to explain this to me. That's like 80% of our food. So
Yeah, we know what hot dogs are. We just don't
Yeah,
know what your
right.
hot dogs are.
I thought all your hot dogs were like more cow than pig.
No, our hot
Can't
dogs
be.
are TBD. Depends on what goes in the vat that day.
Potentially shoe.
Oh, there's,
I mean,
listen,
they usually got to separate it out for pork versus beef, but you could get both here depending on your
And because it's not
religion or
possible
culture
to
or whatever.
get beef sausage,
Preference.
which I prefer, but it's certainly not easy. Pig is 95% of sausages here, and then the last 5% is beef and chicken.
Right. See, the fun thing about being an American is like you can also get sausages that are both. They could be multiple animals. So
So that's
Yeah, I-
heresy. That's something that would bring the God Emperor down upon us. Like,
mm. Yeah. So this week for dinner, like we get these I think they're chicken apple bacon, like they're like bratwursts. So, and the kids eat them. Like they complain because they're still in the phase of like not liking their foods touching, and so when they see the apple stuff in it, they're like, oh, it's like, shut up, you like this, you've eaten this before, just eat it again, So
Eat it with your eyes closed.
yeah, or something, I don't know, but yeah, the apple gives it a flavor and keeps it moist and stuff like that, but very simple. So, but that's one of the things I've been saying since like high school, why I like being an American, is because you can have like 2 or 3 like animals killed for your meal, and it's not even a challenge like
We
for
just
most
all
meals.
of the various animal refuse.
Well, I mean, whatever, if you want to be gross about it, but
And if you stick some apples in it, it covers the other serving of your fruit for the day.
right. Yeah, they waved. There was an apple in the kitchen when I made this. That's a serving, right? So
I
Contact
vaguely
serving.
thought of an apple.
There's tomato on this pizza, dude. Delicious fruit and veggie I have here.
pizza's made out of tomato. Like, you just adding vegetables just takes away from the vegetables that are already there in the sauce.
That's because it's a fruit. You get a
Let's
pepperoni
not start
slice
that
with
bullshit.
peppers on it. You get a pepperoni slice with some peppers on it,
I
and
will
then you
give
got all
you
the
at
food.
least you have food served in schools, whereas we just have lunch boxes or the school cafeteria canteen where you have to buy, mostly already closed up like packages of rice pudding or a pig in a blanket or something like that. You actually you serve what appears to be food.
Yeah, school lunches were not what
Right.
you would call food.
Right.
So they're
It's not
They're-
Japanese school.
near
food.
prison food,
Yeah.
depending on the school.
It's slightly better these days than when I went to school, I think. I still wouldn't eat it, but it is better. So
Listen, those ubiquitous rectangle pizza slices that everyone got across the country, that thing of lemonade or orange juice that was always frozen and never actually drinkable.
the milk. The milk
the
was
milk
the
that-
one that I still have.
Ugh.
Yeah. Because I never did white milk. I always went with the chocolate milk because at least
Of course, if it was there.
didn't taste as bad. But
Mhm.
then it was also frozen, and it actually took me a while to figure out that's probably what was going on instead of something else. But yeah, it's grosser still than this. But I could just mention the milk, and if you know, you know. So
I tried the chocolate milk sometimes was so off that I tried just like with the basic white milk. They can't do that many things to fuck with it, right? And it just tasted like pure chemicals, and I have no idea what went wrong with it. But I tried multiple times. Of just like, give me something that's palatable, and nothing happened. Just
right.
eh.
I do remember school milk because we have like a school milk thing here, and I do remember the milk tasting kind of weird. I think that might be because it arrived frozen. The chocolate milk was fine though, but no, I wasn't allowed to have chocolate milk.
Maybe that's the difference, is like the chocolate milk doesn't freeze as readily because it's got extra in it, and so it's below the temperature it needs to be but still not frozen because
More likely, the milk was the kind that was not high temperature prepared, because it was just like the standard milk you also buy in the stores, the same brand, not the milk, the chocolate milk that this same brand also sells can stand outside the refrigeration in the stores. So it probably just came as is, but the other stuff came frozen for, I would guess, safety, to be sure that it was cold enough the entire time.
Lord knows in a European country that you guys worry about that a whole bunch, so there's no cinnamon in that milk, that's for sure. But yeah.
I told you that story as like we were like against it, and we fought against it, and had an exception made specifically because the European Union wanted to do a thing, and we were like, no, you're not taking our cinnamon. So we kept our cinnamon. We have not lost our cinnamon.
Well, you
Or
can't
kids-
lose what you never had.
Yeah. Is that one of the domains of the fire god? Like cinnamon also because it's spicy, for some people, like it's hot. So
It's what we use when we pray to him.
Mm.
For what we put it in the fire, and the cinnamons.
Oh, I thought you just like put it in lines and then snorted it.
No, they
No,
leave
it's-
offerings of churro
We
milk.
put it in the fire, then the cinnamon smoke. We
I
like.
don't know what churros are.
We
You don't
suck
want
it
them
in.
to try to know what churros are.
We
They
inhale
can't
it.
even do hot dogs. Do you want to talk to them about churros?
Yes, they want them to
No.
evolve.
We inhale
Sorry,
it like stormlight, and
Hmm.
then it gives us our powers.
your powers of lettuce pizza. Like what powers?
That's actually the Store Flammegud. He does not approve of the salad pizza. This is a Turkish.
So you're a heretic.
Right.
It's a Turkish Middle Eastern influence.
So
on
you
our
should be
culture.
sacrificed to the volcano god.
It has been brought up before that the salad pizza
Yes,
eaters-
by us.
and the pineapple pizza eaters as well, because that's
Wow.
Canadian.
They have different
influence.
volcano gods.
Yeah, those ones are in Hawaii, where they accept them.
Yeah.
Pineapple pizza is a Canadian thing?
It,
It's a Canadian who invented it.
Huh.
Oh.
Today I learned. Like, I mean, we're still going to sacrifice you to the volcano, but thank you for enriching me with that trivia along the way.
Can I just try Costco before I go?
Yes, please. Of course.
Yeah.
Like we're not
and you can have
animals.
a 100% beef hot dog and understand what actually it is.
Right. And
No
despite it
sugar,
not being a French hot
no
dog, you won't be able to tell the
sugar.
difference. You know, so
You never know.
because it's still like a foot long and it might as well be in a baguette. But
Oh man.
man, that yeah. I'm gonna start an old thing if I'm not careful about this, so that's why I'm hedging. But you know, if you ever want to shut down a chat somewhere, ask them if hot dogs are sandwiches, right? But clearly, French hot dogs are not. You know, so I was just thinking about that as a loophole and a new angle for that argument.
Is it though? Because it's still a dressing and meat within bread. It's just
Is
no.
is that what defines a sandwich in your country?
a
Maybe it's a
sandwich?
pie.
Because you're about to open up some cans of worms here, sir. Think about our international relations.
Why are we
I don't-
arguing a hot dog is not a sandwich?
burger. I think a burger is a sandwich. Like
Yeah.
I think that's a safe.
yeah.
That's about the safest thing you've ever said.
so.
but-
si-
But your definition is meat and a sauce in bread, which would extend to like pitas and
But
you
it
know,
would exclude
That's
anything
very
that's
sad.
vegetarian.
I mean, fuck
like
the
a rat.
vegetarians. Who
Yeah.
cares?
right.
There's a Capri
yeah.
sandwich at Starbucks that's really
By
good.
By this
Say it.
definition, there are no veggie sandwiches. They've got to be called something else.
It doesn't have to be a meat, but it's more like
Trees. They're called
a
trees.
I don't have the words, man.
Yeah, we know.
English. Some sort of topping. It doesn't have to be meat based. Like or it could be a cold cut. It could be tomatoes. I guess like
Is a
within
calzone a
bread.
sandwich?
Sense actually.
What?
Is a
What'd you say?
calzone a sandwich?
Right.
No, I don't think a calzone
Is
counts as a
calzone
sandwich.
a sandwich? Yeah, it's like yeah.
I think
I will actually say the good question. No, you bring that up. We have something here called pizza sandwiches, which is essentially a calzone, except it's cut up afterwards and salad is put into it.
Oh God.
Why do you?
so. It's a salad.
Why? Why do you? What is this obsession of putting salads in pizza?
Already.
What the fuck? It's just
Yeah.
We have it. It's a thing. There's the difference is no tomato sauce is in it, and then afterwards.
And
it's
how's it
cut up
pizza?
and- Yep, that's what it's a pizza sandwich.
But it isn't. That's just like
The
a
cheese is
melt
in there.
with lettuce in it.
The
You've
cheese
got
is in there,
meat-
and then some sort of meat or whatever you want.
Cheese, bread, and salad. That's just a fucking melt with salad in it. That there's no pizza sauce. There's no pizza.
It's shaped like a calzone. It's like it's in the same dough as well.
Okay.
Anyway, that's called
Your-
the pizza
your
sandwich.
country.
Salad in it.
I think your volcano god's been protecting you guys because he likes your little quirky,
why does the volcano god like
mannerisms
salad?
or something. He doesn't
Doesn't.
though, so it's got to be something else. They've got to endear him in some other way. Otherwise,
thing
like the whole
is,
country would just
We
go.
are- We are
No, they're good
protecting
things,
him.
but just stop putting them inside your pizzas. Like, just have them separately.
You get them, director. You can undo hundreds of years worth of evolution.
Hundreds of years. This is probably like 5 years. This probably only just came up.
This is a modern dementation.
Oh no.
I actually prefer. I know usually they don't understand when I ask for this because I don't know, but I prefer when they make the pizzas with the salads or the pizza sandwich that they have the salad separately and then I put it on when I'm gonna eat it, because then it's still cold and crisp and fresh instead of.
So just tell them you want a side salad. Is that what it
just
is?
get a
I don't-
regular pizza and a side salad, and
I'm
eat
not,
them
you know how
separately.
much more that's gonna cost me than just telling them to put the salad
You
separately.
That's your
deserve to have
problem.
to pay more for this nastiness.
Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. Are you crazy? That's double the price or something. Because then you're getting a pizza and a salad.
A side salad. Do you know what side
Right.
salad is?
Right. So it's a salad on
There
the
is no
smaller.
such thing as a side salad from the pizza places. It's a whole meal on its own, a whole meal size on its own, with usually with meat or something in it.
How did
Or-
this not translate? Like even Pizza Hut had side salads. Like
Yeah, they had a
every
salad bar.
place. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sure. If
a
you go
pizza
back,
place
You had to pay
does
for the
not
salad
have
bar
a
unless you
side
just walked
salad.
up there
You
and
can have
didn't care.
a salad, which would be a full meal.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pay for the full salad bar if I was just going to put it on my pizza, but I would be worried about being ejected from the place, for the abomination that I'm creating. So,
Yeah,
we're
but you
actually
knew better.
getting a
Yeah.
we're actually a Pizza Hut is opening up here in town since Domino's has been closed down everywhere, but now Pizza Hut bought those locations and now Pizza Huts are opening there instead.
It's good to see
why
they're
did
expanding
Domino's
somewhere.
shut down?
They went bankrupt.
Because they put tortilla chips on their pizza and called it American.
That was a Mexican pizza actually, but yeah, they called
I
it a
should hope
Mexican
so.
pizza.
Well,
At least that's closer.
Mexicans
That's
are
not a Mexican
Americans
pizza.
too.
That is not a Mexican pizza.
That's what it was. I know
It
it's
is
not
in
actually.
it is in
That is
Sweden.
what it was called on the menu. A
I
Mexican.
was gonna say this is a Swedish Mexican pizza. Let's be fair here. We're
Right.
talking.
Oh,
You take that up with Domino's, not me.
Oh
that is
man,
not a Mexican pizza. Like the
it's a different
absolute
kind of abomination. Just so we're clear.
the
So,
disrespect that Mexican culture has been going through by you fucking Scandinavians. Jesus Christ.
Americans haven't done much better by them, So, but
Yeah, but we
yeah.
got Tex-Mex out of it, and everybody likes that.
Yeah, no, Tex-Mex is good. We have like Filibertos and all of the hole in the wall places that are really good. And yes, we have the Taco Bell that's kind of like Americanish, but
Not very good.
American-ish.
Americanish.
I was gonna say, which
but-
part of it is not American? They even got rid of the dog. They got rid of everything that
Oh
was
man, I like
regular.
that dog. It was like my childhood memories of Taco Bell are still very dear to me.
Sure.
It's absolute dog shit now.
Everyone's
But-
were because it actually was edible back then,
It
sort
was
of.
so good. I miss
Well,
it.
that's because you didn't know it was meat sauce, and they were arguing about how much meat had to be in it for it to be
Oh,
called.
you know what
meat.
was meat sauce? Those
So-
Lunchables when they came out with tacos and you came in that
Sure.
packet. That
Yeah.
was like.
That's
I
why I
think
didn't do
even
those.
even Taco Bell was more substantive than that.
Hey,
Right.
Look at this. Even we're not the only country who did it. Domino's
that's
Indonesia
not-
did it too.
That's not a defense, right? Like, yeah.
Some other country made a war crime, so we can do it too.
You have to take it up with Domino's. It's Domino's.
We're taking it
Sure.
up with you because they did
I'm
it for
just
your
saying-
people for a reason.
Whatever happened with them going out of business, I feel like justice was served. So hopefully,
now
Pizza Hut
it's
doesn't repeat that
Pizza Hut.
mistake.
Is Pizza Hut better than Domino's?
They
Depends
used
on
to.
the
I-
preference.
I prefer it better. I don't know if it is better, but like Domino's is pretty much the fastest, cheapest pizza that you can get in the States, unless there's like some hole in the wall that tries to do it better. But like the Domino's big claim to fame right now is the fact that they just have like ready-made pizzas that you can buy for like $5.
Mm,
Or
Little
whatever.
Caesars
I was
actually.
gonna say,
they
yeah,
have
Little
Oh,
little
is that what I'm
Caesars.
more.
mixing them
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
The Domino's.
okay, so
is
second
important for me.
cheapest,
Not that cheap.
but yeah, like
It's on par with like normal pizza places. Like, how much was a pizza?
I always preferred Pizza Hut, but it was always like for
Yeah,
the
a pizza
specialties.
from Domino's was
Yeah.
like $10 or something,
sure.
That's not the case.
which is
Yeah.
like on par with the other pizza places. So it
I think
wasn't
a
cheaper.
personal pan pizza you'd be lucky to get for $10.99 still at a Pizza Hut.
This is going to be weird to say, but because it popped into my head, I'm going to say it. But Pizza Hut is like the Visa of pizzas. It's
Oh.
like everywhere, and you know what you're going to get,
I
right?
actually can't remember the last time
It's
I saw
like
a Pizza Hut in
McDonald's.
person.
Well, and
gonna
I
say,
haven't
I
ordered
think I would
from one
attribute
for a
it.
while. We usually order from local chains, but yeah. So
But
I
it's
think I would
is it-
attribute that to Domino's now because they have
Sure.
Pizza Hut has scaled back and Domino's has very much expanded. So
that makes sense. Except
they
for
are the
they're
number
not
one.
available in Denmark.
I have a
but Pizza
question
Hut is.
for a chatter here.
I mean,
Elforce
in
to
the US.
say salad pizza's available here in the States, or at least a chain near me has it. What
Okay.
else is on this salad pizza and on this where you have access
I can
to?
go to the corner
just
pizza
wondering if
shop a
it's like
block and a half
ours.
away from me and get a chicken Caesar salad slice. That's not,
Yeah.
unfamiliar,
that shit-
but that's
that
also
shit-
from a real pizzeria. Number one, and number two, there's no sauce on there.
Right. You can get any kind of food in America. That's America, right? So it does not surprise me that some Danish, Middle Eastern person has imported their pizza cuisine. It doesn't make it like less of an abomination because it's also
I
here
mean,
in America.
in the end, you can just thank Denmark for the hamburger and be happy about that.
Yeah, but yours is actually
are not Hamburg.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
No,
right.
but you can thank
It's
us
only
for
a hamburger if
the hamburger,
ham-
whatever you want to call it, because
Germany.
that's a Danish invention, and you can look it up, and it's a fact.
If it's not from Hamburg, it's just a sparkling sandwich. So
So
Just like if it's not from
the
Frankfurt,
most
it's not a
popular
hot dog.
food in America,
Right.
the burger, Danish. You're welcome.
yeah.
Keep your
Nobody
hands
here
off
is
my
going
dog.
to order a Danish
we,
burger.
we get it. We've stolen everything from everybody. All right. We stole nuclear scientists. We stole our
Burger,
space
take it,
program. We
nuclear,
stole
take
our
it, space,
food.
Oil,
grammar,
take it.
It
It doesn't
we've stolen
count as
everything
stealing
from
if everybody comes here and brings it with them.
Well,
no,
yeah,
it's a
but
potluck.
yeah, we stole it by being like,
America, the potluck country.
the greener
By
grass.
being
but-
awesome.
Yeah, right.
We were the crib that everybody wanted to come hang out with because we had the N64, so we get all the good shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you were
Yeah.
built on cultural like coming together.
Hold
and
on.
immigration. But
Until they start
now-
knocking on my door, I have to disavow this under the current administration. Okay, like immigrants have
But
never done
now-
anything but stolen from this country. So
Now it's land closed. Everything that made us great. No.
right.
Right. I just wanted to be sure. I mean,
Sure.
hey, we're kind of xenophobic here in Denmark. I'm not gonna deny that. Like we're not that fond of strangers in general.
You're a
Uh,
monoculture.
oh,
That's also
yeah,
not
yeah.
surprising. Like, so you guys exported your violence to everybody else. You're not going to import other people's cultures. So just their gold,
We were kind of
So-
we did the whole violence thing 400 years ago, and I was like, we're over it. No more.
Then you invented drugs and you're like, drugs, much better.
But good drugs, not
drugs.
bad drugs, not addictive drugs.
Yeah.
Not like what's that Minnesota American company called with the Oxycontin? Oh, that was a no.
Purdue, I think it was. Or...
Purdue, yes, exactly. Good. What was that? Dope Sick? Is that what that like mini series was called? That was really good.
I don't know this one.
Let's see, what's it called? That
I
yes,
didn't even
Dope
really
Sick.
hear 'em.
It's like I don't know what is it, 8 episodes or something. Really good. Michael Keaton, it's like starring in it. Will Poulter. Great movie about that whole thing.
Interesting.
Or movie, miniseries, sorry. Really good. It's on Hulu or something
Looks like it.
for you. We got it on something else since we don't use Hulu much. I got it on some service that I have.
Yeah.
You stuck an antenna on top of the volcano and just stole it.
Store Flammegud, give me the American TV shows. And then he obliged.
And it's like 20 years behind, so you're only just getting The Wire now.
The Wire. Oh man, yeah, The Wire is great. I just watched that last night, and The Sopranos. And then there was a rerun.
Are you
on
saying
Knight
that just
Rider.
because I brought it up? There's no way you just watched it last night.
Yeah, I was running with the joke that it was just airing on TV, so I watched it
Oh,
last
you
night.
have to say it with a jokey inflection because everyone thinks you're serious because you have an
He's
accent.
yeah, he's been pretty good with his improv this episode, you know. So yeah, you're gonna say, oh, like, yeah, I've seen this one, and he's like, how have you seen it? It's brand new. So
That would have been funnier.
you're welcome.
He's going to use that next episode just like out of context and be like, yeah, I'm bringing it back from the last episode. Because we're, everything's slow here.
Is he bringing it back to the future?
Yeah. Reincorporation.
Running it back.
Setup and payoff. Because if you do it 5 minutes ago and you do it then in 5 minutes, it's payoff, right? That's how that works.
That's Chekhov's gun.
Collect all the examples of
quite.
Chekhov's gun that didn't get fired and just throw it at people every time they say that. Because I'm really sick of Chekhov's gun. Oh, it's there. It's got to be. No, it doesn't have to be used. That's called a misdirect. That's the other thing. It could be like.
So if you have a Chekhov's gun called the red herring, then no.
That's, you know what? It needs to be a gun with a fish wrapped around it so you don't know what it is.
Right? Or it looks like a fish but was really a gun. So
Either way.
Those
Or a
talking,
harpoon.
singing bass things that you put over the door are really annoying, but it also has a gun in it.
So when it turns its head, it goes.
Yeah.
Just
right.
kills everyone in the room.
Defend against intruders.
I think we just came up with the plot of the next Glass Onion movie. So
Ugh. Ugh. God.
be like, but wait, the angle of attack came from the fish. So I just killed you. Did you not enjoy those
Yeah.
movies?
It hurts. No.
Hmm.
Especially Glass Onion. Like Knives Out was
It was
bad
a step
enough, but
down.
Glass Onion was so insufferable.
The third one looks like it's more grounded. Not so-
Grounded than what?
Unless
I
it's
would-
in the ground, I don't care.
I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I saw this, like in the second one, there's this reference to Jeremy Renner's hot sauce, and then the third one, Jeremy Renner's in it, but he's not himself; he's a character. I thought that was funny.
Thank goodness.
Knives Out was decent, but I think it's suffering now from the syndrome of like it was good enough to get a lot of acclaim at a certain point, and now they're kind of caught up in their own bullshit
Hmm.
and trying to be a bit too clever. At least that's how it felt with Glass Onion. Like I watched it, it was okay. It was just didn't have enough to justify itself, I guess.
You guys are a tough crowd, I can tell. So
Listen, when you tell me that your victim was so smart that she knew that she didn't have to fear the guy who ended up killing her, and that's why she died, you're not clever. You're just retarded.
I'm apparently not following this logic. So
And the whole
It's
thing
Wynn
was
that died, and he's going through the explanations. Like she knew she didn't have to fear him, and that's why he was able to kill her. Or whatever. It's like what? That's
and the
supposed
whole
to be
reveal
a
is, like,
compliment?
The super genius is actually an idiot, and it's
Sure.
just been like doing a con. It's like I don't know. It wasn't satisfying.
It's because you use a fax machine.
that goes to everywhere in the world.
Anyway. Yeah, so I'm sure the third one will be great.
You sound
What I'm hearing
so
though is
convinced and enthused that you really like. Yeah, I can tell you really hope it's gonna be great.
yeah, my main takeaway is that he's still going to watch it. So
No.
Hate watch it.
right.
Nope. I don't need to do that anymore because there's plenty of podcasts out there that'll break down shit that I know is going to be bad, and I can enjoy that
Okay.
in the background
So
at work.
You and the director gotcha. Like I've never watched this, but I did listen to a podcaster that I like and he hated it. So ironic that
Listen,
we're talking about that here.
Because
So-
this guy watched it, so I don't have to watch
If
it.
the breakdown is accurate, then it doesn't really
Or
matter.
sometimes you could watch it and you'd be like, ah, yes, I did enjoy this movie anyway. So you never
I
watched
could
a
do
movie
that.
that other people hated? Come on now.
Sure, I have.
Volcano. Just
Great
saying.
movie.
No, not
Yeah.
Volcano.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you guys like rag on movies that are pretty decent and then just put Volcano on a pedestal. Like
I've
It's
never
a
even
very
seen
good
it.
bad movie.
you've never
I
seen
always watched.
Volcano?
No, I always watched Dante's Peak when I wanted a volcano.
Shame this man and then roll credits. Go
You just
friggin'
need
watch
to do
Volcano.
both. They have their place. They're just different
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
And one
I
has
also
Tommy
never
Lee.
watched Deep Impact. I've
and
only
I-
ever seen the end of Deep Impact.
What is wrong with you?
Deep Impact is
Yeah,
good.
why
We've
am I
had this
having this
discussion.
with you today? Like,
We've had this
Maybe,
discussion. There's plenty of movies.
but then
that-
I'm
you
gonna
watched
vent it like I'm gonna
You haven't
vent
watched
right
Deep
now.
Impact to finish, but you finished Armageddon.
Well, Armageddon, I was taken to the movies for. I mean, I couldn't help that.
So you saw Armageddon without your consent, is what you're saying. So
I probably had a vague interest, but
I can't imagine EJ just not sighing and getting up when they're like, no, it's easier to teach these guys to go to space than to teach astronauts how to drill.
yeah, so like Deep Impact's the one with Frodo in it, right? So
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you want to watch Frodo take the comet and drop it in a volcano, which is really bad for the planet, then go watch Deep Impact.
You think that's what
Um,
got him the role for Lord of the Rings? He was just throwing shit in volcanoes, so they were like, "Well, he's done it once; he can do it again."
That's funny.
I didn't realize that's what that was. So now we know.
And
He-
if you
see,
want to
he was
sacrifice
typecast.
to your- if you want to sacrifice to your god, you can sacrifice by paying to patreon.com/broken jars.
Don't
And
throw money in a
And we will
volcano. Let us do it
beneficently
for
give
you.
Give you access to our Discord,
Gives you just about as much benefits.
where you can have direct access to your
Does your
so-called
god have a
gods.
Discord? Didn't think so.
Yeah,
I like how we're calling ourselves
Probably a
gods
few.
now, though. So
I
that's
gotta-
that's
I
good
can
for the
talk-
ego.
I can converse them within gifts because we gotta be mysterious still. So
Is he still going?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
live every Saturday, 1 p.m. EST. Leave a comment, subscribe, like. I think that's it.
You sure? They could dislike. Don't
Let's
don't
go off
take
on the
away their
move.
options.
Peace.
I thought the dislike button was taken away or something.
The ability to see the dislikes. The dislike button is still
Oh.
there, but it doesn't show now the ratio unless
So
you,
you
get
can
like
just
a-
scream into the void.
That's all of life now.
Yeah, but the dislike add-on is fake though because it's their own dislike. It's not like what YouTube.
No, I thought there was third-party ones. I mean, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think there
There are
are third-party
third-party
ones.
ones, but you don't get access to YouTube's data about the dislike likes. It's just like everybody who has this browser extension. Therefore, it's more likely to have dislikes because people installed it wanting to dislike things. So it's not really representative of actual liking, disliking.
Can we get one of those for you, and I can just push it?
I'll make one for you.
Thank you.
He never will. He never follows through with the things that
He
he
hasn't done his other tests. I know how this
Yeah.
is gonna go.
I'm-
It'll get shunted off to Justin to make the dislike Andreas button for us.
I'm trying.
I can get AI on this. Don't worry.
Oh,
So,
I could do that.
I'm
I've already done the outro. Close the show.
You kept talking. We wouldn't want to cut you off. You're vital